Behind the walls of that unassuming building behind me is where one legendary music producer works his magic. I'm Christopher G. in Hollywood, and I'll give you an inside look at Cherokee Studios and one of the next generation of musical artists currently carrying on in the Cherokee legacy. I'm tired of the way these people... The journey from garage band to stardom can be bumpy, but for the band Hvnted, formed by longtime buddies Will, Seamus, Jack, and Declan, their artistic journey hit a major bump when the pandemic hit. Lead singer-songwriter Will Swanson said it wasn't just the creative toll the pandemic took, but also the social isolation that was difficult.
It was literally the first time that the three best guys I had, the guys that I spent all my time with, told me, I don't want to see you. I just felt alone. And it's that depression picks up because you lose all your flow. It's like all the progress we're making was like this big train, it was stopped.
Will says the pandemic shutting down live performance and keeping the band apart took a major psychological toll.
After we were able to continue working, after venues allowed us to start playing again, I felt that weight. I was like, what's the point? We've already stopped all this traction. Why keep going?
But during the pandemic, Hvnted teamed up with legendary producer Bruce Robb at his Cherokee Studios, which made Will realize he had a responsibility to keep going.
Like, I'm part of something, bigger than I think it is. Or like we're working with Bruce. We're working at Cherokee. I can't just what am I doing?
Over the years, Bruce has worked with the likes of David Bowie and Frank Sinatra, and Beatles producer George Martin once called Cherokee the best recording studio in America. Bruce says he jumped at the chance to work with Hvnted for one simple reason.
This was a real band, and not all bands are real bands. A lot of bands are collections of musicians.
Although technology has changed over the years, Bruce still works mostly with classic analog gear, which has served him well over the years.
There's people that claim this is probably the finest sounding analog desk built. One of them was George Martin.
Just before the pandemic hit, Hvnted was spotted performing live by Tiffany Downey, who co-owns Cherokee Studios with Bruce and brought them into the studio. And while the coming together of the band's youthful energy and Bruce's experience and wisdom has been fruitful, Bruce says everything hinges on one thing.
What I really want is feel. And if it's not there, nothing's there. And what I try to do all the time is I try to work with people who do this because they have to.
And while the venues might be modest right now, Will says making music is all about the journey.
I always try and look at the bright side of everything. COVID kind of proved to us that anyone can be an artist like this. Anyone can do it.
Hvnted says their songs come from a personal place, and although the last year has been tough all around, having the music and the camaraderie is what's kept that proverbial train going.